Hey there, Midnight Mysteries family. Today's story is about the time I had to witness the Whispering Woods. The story is not for lighthearted, so be sure before listening to my true scary stories. Also hit that like button, and subscribe for more scary stories daily. It keeps me encouraged to share my stories with you. Let's dive in. The darkness crept in like an unwelcome guest, casting long shadows that danced eerily across the forest floor. I stood at the edge of the Whispering Woods, a place rumored to be haunted by the souls of the lost and forgotten. Despite the warnings, curiosity gnawed at me, urging me to step into the unknown. With each hesitant step, the trees seemed to close in around me, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers grasping for my soul. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the only sound was the faint whispering of the leaves overhead. As I ventured deeper into the heart of the woods, a sense of unease settled over me like a heavy cloak. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes followed my every move with malicious intent. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the trees, sending a shiver down my spine. I stumbled forward, my heart pounding in my chest as I realized I had lost my way. Panic clawed at my insides, threatening to consume me whole. Desperate for escape, I pushed through the undergrowth, the thorns tearing at my flesh as I fought my way through the darkness. But no matter which way I turned, the path seemed to twist and turn, leading me further into the heart of the woods. And then, I saw it. A flicker of movement in the shadows, just beyond the reach of my flashlight. My breath caught in my throat as I strained to see through the darkness, but whatever it was had vanished as quickly as it had appeared. With trembling hands, I pressed on, each step heavier than the last. The woods seemed to come alive around me, the trees whispering secrets I dared not comprehend. And then, I heard it. "Hello," guttural growl that sent ice coursing through my veins. I froze, my heart hammering in my chest as I scanned the darkness for any sign of the source. And then, I saw them. Two glowing orbs of red, watching me from the depths of the forest with an intensity that made my blood run cold. I turned to run, but it was too late. Something grabbed hold of me from behind, its icy fingers wrapping around my throat like a vice. I struggled against its grip, but it was no use. I was trapped, at the mercy of whatever lurked in the shadows. And then, I saw it. A figure emerged from the darkness, its features obscured by the swirling mist that surrounded us. It loomed over me like a specter of death, its eyes burning with a malevolent light that chilled me to the bone. I screamed, the sound echoing through the woods like a cry for help that would never come. But no one answered, for in the Whispering Woods, the only company was that of the lost and the damned. As the darkness closed in around me, I realized the true horror of my situation. I was alone, at the mercy of forces beyond my comprehension, lost in a world where nightmares lurked around every corner. With a final, desperate gasp, I succumbed to the darkness, my consciousness slipping away as the woods claimed me as their own. And as I drifted into oblivion, I knew that I would never escape the Whispering Woods, that my fate was sealed within its haunted embrace for all eternity. The Basement Murders. It all started one rainy night. Me, Jake, and Sarah were hanging out at my place, watching scary movies and eating junk food like we always did. But when Sarah went to grab us some more popcorn from the kitchen, she heard a noise coming from the basement. Now, Sarah ain't one to scare easy, but she came running back to the living room, her face as white as a sheet. She said she heard something down there, something that sounded like someone whispering her name. Well, none of us believed her at first. But then we heard it too, a faint whisper, like someone calling out from the depths of hell. And that's when Jake decided we should go check it out. So, armed with nothing but a flashlight and our nerves of steel, we headed down into the darkness. The air was musty, and the light from my flashlight barely cut through the shadows. But that's when we saw it, a trail of bloody footprints leading deeper into the basement. My heart started pounding, but I couldn't turn back now. We followed the footprints, each step feeling heavier than the last. And that's when we saw it, a body lying motionless on the floor, blood pooling around it like a dark, twisted halo. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like something out of a horror movie. I wanted to run, to scream for help, but my feet were rooted to the spot. And then, we heard it again, that faint whisper, like someone calling out from the depths of hell. Jake wanted to run, but Sarah said we had to stay and figure out what was going on. So, we pressed on, our hearts pounding in our chests. But just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, we heard footsteps behind us, slow, deliberate footsteps, getting closer with each passing moment. I turned to run, but it was too late. Something grabbed hold of me, dragging me into the darkness. Jake and Sarah tried to help, but whatever had me wasn't letting go. And that's when we saw them, the eyes, glowing in the darkness like embers from a dying fire. I knew then that we were in the presence of pure evil. But just when I thought it was all over, I woke up, drenched in sweat, back in my own bed. I thought it was just a nightmare, but when I went down to the basement the next morning, I found the footprints, still there, still leading deeper into the darkness. So, if you ever find yourself alone at night, just remember, sometimes, the scariest things are the ones we can't see coming. And if you hear something calling out from the shadows, do yourself a favor and run. Run as fast as you can, and don't look back.